Joining us now is Jim Rutenberg, writer-at-large for the New York Times. He's the lead byline in this remarkable piece of reporting called 77 Days, Trump's Campaign to Subvert the Election. Mr. Rutenberg, it's a real honor to have you here tonight. Thanks for making time.
Thank you so much for having me.
So can you tell us a little bit about the decision about how to end the rally? This remarkable, to my mind, literally jaw-dropping reporting that it was at the insistence of the White House specifically that rally would end with the march onto the Capitol.
Well, and it's like a lot of these things where so our reporting found one of the organizers in interviews with us said, he was shocked that it was going to be a march down to the Capitol because he had actually planned been involved in the other rallies, and had always kind of wondered about what about a march to the Capitol. And he always saw that as sort of unwieldy. So he was surprised to see that this is what the president was calling for. Because let's not forget, the president himself is calling for this from the lectern. But really, by then, what people need to remember is that these rallies were being planned by an outside group, Women for America First. They were kind of like the stand-in for Trump's campaign, but they're operating separately from the Trump world, presumably. But when the president decides that he's going to speak at this rally on January 6th, it very much effectively becomes a White House production. But one other thing I'll note is if one looks at the permit very specifically said that they were not permitted to march down to the Capitol. It was acknowledged that some people who went to the rally may go down there, but the permit very specifically has language that this is not a permit for a march to the Capitol.
And Jim, it is remarkable to see you and your colleagues lay out the extent to which this was not so much an ad hoc effort. It seemed to evolve over time, but it was not ad hoc. It was coordinated. There was a somewhat orderly effort underway to try to get the election results overturned. I wondered if it was your sense in reporting this that ultimate aim, that radical, and I think many people would say seditious aim to overthrow the results of the election and keep Trump in power, is that something that was suggested to the president and others were leading it and he went along with it? Or was that very core idea his from the outset?
It seems to me, we called it at one point a kind of symphony of subversion. The president, as we've also previously reported, but certainly in this piece, he was looking at anything he could do. He's trying to push the Justice Department to do his bidding. He's trying to get governors to do his bidding. He's trying to get secretaries of state to do his bidding. But what's interesting to me is we spent, believe me, hours going through tape of rallies and this very organized campaign to drive people down to the Capitol on January 6th. And it's almost like it's hard to know what even the people who are organizing this think this is going to happen here, because a lot of the language is that sort of Tea Party rhetoric and Second Amendment rhetoric and, 1776, it's revolutionary fervor. No one's saying go commit violence, but there's talk of martial law perhaps, and we need to take our country back. Now, we also know that the president had been meeting with Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who he had recently pardoned, his national security advisor, and Michael Flynn had openly discussed martial law. So effectively, everything was on the table in this, what was becoming an extra legal sort of campaign. Absolutely.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.